So let's do a quick recap what we have done yesterday. So in last session we discussed about variables, and we discussed about the examples of variables, and also we have discussed about constants, right? We have discussed about constants or final variables. Final variables. So today we'll start with a new topic which is called literals. Literals. Okay, literals. Okay, so we'll discuss more details about the literals. So let us quickly start about the literals. Literals. So the name or the meaning of literals means values. Literals means values. Okay, literals are the actual values. Literals are the actual values what we store inside variable. Okay, literals are the actual values what we store inside a variable, and literals will be assigned to the variables. It can be assigned to the variables or constants. These can be assigned to variables or constants. For example, when I write int a is equal to 99, when I say int a equal to 99, so static, when I say static, or maybe when I say final, or when I say any of this, these are called modifiers. These are called modifiers. Okay, where int is a data type. Int is a data type, and a is the identifier. A is the identifier. Now 99, the value 99 is called as literal. 99 is called as literal. Okay, okay. So where static, final, all these are the modifiers. Okay, where int you call it as a data type, a is an identifier or name of a variable, name of a variable, and here the value 99 is called as a literal. Literals are the actual values. Literals are the actual values what you store inside a variable. What you store inside a variable. Okay. So literal can be assigned to the variables or constants. So when I say final int x is equal to 20, final int x is equal to 20. So what is this 20? 20 is a literal. 20 is a literal. So it can be assigned to a final variable or a constant. It can be assigned to a final variables or constants, or it can be assigned to the variables. It can be any scope. It can be on any scope. It can be on, it can be primitive, or it can be a reference, or it can be static, or it can be instance type or a local type. Okay, any type you take. Okay, literals are the actual values. Okay, so why we need these literals? Why do we need these values? Why do we need these values? So the actual values we call it as literals, right? So these literals are required for us, are required for us to do some operations, to do some operations. Okay, so these value, using these values, we'll do some operations. We'll do some operations. For example, I'm just taking one use case here. Okay, withdraw amount from ATM. Withdraw amount from an ATM. You go into an ATM, right? You go into an ATM, you insert a card, right? You insert a card, and you get a message on screen. Some process happens inside, and on the screen you get hello, hello, so and so, your name, welcome to HDFC Bank, for example. welcome to HDFC Bank. So what is the value that gets displayed here, right? That is called as a literal. So in case if it is Anil, the value is Anil, then Anil will be displayed here. Or if it is Chandra, then Chandra will be displayed, right? If it is Baba, then Baba. If it is Jabbar, Jabbar, right? Any of the, so the actual name will be displayed there. So using this, you are saying that this is your account. This is this particular account. You are explaining that. So you are using that literal or actual value to explain that this is exactly your account. One value. Now, after that, what you do? It will ask you to insert pin. Insert pin. So maybe assume that 2233 is the pin. What is this 2233? This is the actual value. This is a literal again. This is the literal again. So once you enter this value, okay, using this literal, some operation is performed in the background. So what is that operation? Verifying your security check. So once you enter your pin, once we get the actual value, we will verify the security check. We'll verify the security check, right? We'll verify the security check. So these literals will actually perform in the operations. These actual values will perform the operations. If you give a wrong details here, if you give wrong pin, then immediately it says pin is incorrect. Pin is incorrect. If you enter a right value, if you enter a right value, then it will go for next step. Then it will go for next step. So based on these values, the next operations are decided. Next operations are decided. Okay. So literals plays a key role in the operations. Okay. So literals are the actual values, and they can be assigned to a constant, or they can be assigned to a variable of any scope, whether it can be a reference type, or it can be an primitive type, or a local, global, or a static. Okay. So it can be of any scope. Now these literals are divided into many types again, based on the data type that we have. These are divided into different types. So what are those different types? Means, so the literals are divided into numeric, number values, and then non-numeric. Non-numeric. Numeric values and non-numeric values. When it comes to numeric, okay, again numeric is divided into two types. They are unsigned and signed. Okay, unsigned and signed. Okay, so under unsigned, what is the unsigned numeric values is character type. All the character literals, all char type data, all the char type data will come under unsigned. Unsigned is basically it will have only positive values. Only it will have positive numbers. Unsigned is positive numbers. It will have only positive numbers. For characters, you don't find any negative numbers. If you look at the range of character, it starts from 0 to 65,535 is the range, right? The char range is 0 to 65,535. It will only have positive numbers. It will only have positive number range. So then what is signed? What is signed? Signed means either it can have a positive value or a negative value. So under sign, you get integral literals, and you get floating. We get floating, right? So you can have a positive value here or a negative value also. You can have a positive range or a negative range of the numbers, which is called signed numeric literals. Signed means either it can be a plus or minus, plus or minus. Unsigned means you only will have positive numbers, positive range. It starts from 0 and it goes to 65,535. That's the range of char. So now when it comes to the numeric literals, when it comes to the numeric literals, numeric literals are of again two types. What is that? No, sorry, non-numeric. Non-numeric is of about two types. What is that? So then the name itself says no numbers. No numbers. There are no numbers. So what is the two we have? The left out Boolean. We have Boolean where there is no value. Okay. Either you will have only true or false. True or false. And the another thing what we have string literals. We have string literals. String is a group of characters. Group of characters. Okay. So these two will come under non-numeric. So numeric literals are the actual values. So there are two type of literals, numeric literals and non-numeric literals. When it comes to numeric literals, there are signed and unsigned. When it comes to unsigned, char will fall under unsigned because it will only have positive numbers. Unsigned means it can have a positive range or a negative range. It can have a positive or a negative value. Non-numeric, apart from numbers, it is completely there is no numbers involved. So when you say Boolean, it is either yes or no decision kind of, true or false. And string is like a group of characters. You don't have numbers inside it. You don't have a number inside it. Okay. So these are the type of literals that we have. These are the type of literals that we have. What are the type of literals that we have? We have Boolean literals. We have Boolean literals. Then we have character literals. Then we have string literals, right? We have string literals. And then we have integral literals. We have integral literals. And we have floating point type, floating literals. And then we have a special literal. Okay, then we have one special literal which is called null literal. Null literal. So this is for class type. Null is the default value for reference type. If you remember, this we have discussed. Okay, for every primitive type there is a default value. Okay, but for reference type, what is the default value? For any reference type, the default value is null. So null is also a literal. It's a special type of literal. Null is a literal. Okay, so you know that blue Boolean literals. Boolean has only two possibilities. Either you can store true or false. Boolean literals are of can assign only two possibilities, either true or false. You can only store true or false into this Boolean type variables. Similarly, characters. Similarly, characters. Okay, so when you are storing the character literals, Boolean will have only two types, true or false. Boolean can store only either true or false. Anything apart from that, if you try to store inside it, it will fail. Okay, it will fail. Only two possibilities. Now, character literals. So when you are defining character literals, so this character literals has some rules to be followed. There are some rules to be followed when you are storing a character. When you are storing a character. Okay, so what are those rules is? What are those rules is? A char, okay, a char literal must be enclosed in a single character. in a single code, and only one character is allowed. Only one character is allowed inside single quote. Okay. If I want to define a character, char ch is equal to, I cannot define a something like this. I cannot define something like this in the code. Now, when I write something, okay, now my compiler thinks that a as another variable. It treats a as another variable. Okay, it treats as a as some other variable. It is not the actual value. It won't think actual value. So to tell that to tell my compiler that a is the actual value, you have to pass that in a single quote. You have to pass that in a single quote, and only one character is allowed within this single quote. Okay, only one character is allowed inside the single quote. Let us quickly see that. So these two examples, let us quickly verify. Let me go to the practice folder. This is where we are developing the code, right? I'll take the new document. So the first case, what we have written, so Boolean literals. So Boolean will store only true or false. So first case is I'm defining a Boolean literal. I'm defining a Boolean literal, and I'm storing value true inside B. Value true inside B. And I'm defining one more literal B1, and I'm storing the value false. The value false. Okay. So now Boolean B2, here I'm trying to store 23. Here I'm trying to store 23. So for now, I'll not do this. I'll just see the valid use cases first. Valid use cases first, and then we'll do the invalid use cases. We'll do the invalid use cases. So again, what I'm doing, char ch is equal to a. I'm just defining one single character a here. Now I'm trying to print it. B, I'm trying to print the B value. I'm not doing any operation. I'm just printing it for now. Copying that, pasting it. So B1 and then CH and then CH, saving the code. I'm saving the code now. So this I'll save as a new file. Or let me change the class name also. Class name I'm changing it as literals. Class name I'm changing it as literals, and saved now. So we can see that there is a literals.java file, and I'm trying to compile the code now. So Java C literals.java. So all the use cases are valid in this. So if you look at the code, we have Boolean value, either true or false can be stored inside the Boolean type. So only that is stored. Now I'm defining a character type variable, and I'm enclosing that within the single quote, and only one character I have stored inside it. One character I have stored inside it. So all the rules are validated. Successfully it has validated all the rules. The Java compiler accepted all the rules. So we have written the code within the Java rules. So now I am trying to execute it. See, it has happily executed. Now, what I will do, instead of true, I'll make this as capital true. Capital true. So now, if you look at the values, so the values, if you look at, they are with small case. True is with the small case, not with the capital case, right? So now I'll try to save this code and compile it again. Now you see, cannot find the symbol. It says this true. I cannot find a symbol called true. You see, it is treating that as a variable. True is, it is treating this true as a variable. Okay, it is thinking there is another variable called true, which we are assigning to this boolean boolean variable. So apart from the true or false, which is in small case, if you give anything else, it will fail. Maybe if I try to give 0, if I try to give 0, see, incompatible types. It says, boss, you're defined a boolean variable which will accept only true or false, but the value what you're passing is of integer type. The value which you're passing is of integer type. So int cannot be converted to a boolean value. It says int cannot be converted to a boolean value. So apart from true or false, you can't give anything else for boolean type. Now let us make this valid, but this time I am giving a space inside. I am giving a space inside the single quote. So I am giving a and then I am giving a space, right? You see there is a space here. There is a space here, and I'm saving the code. You see, if you look at this code now, if you look at the code, unclosed character literal. So it says, it thinks that there are two characters here. There are two characters. Only one single character is, ideally I gave a one single character and a space. Now space is also treated as a space. The space is also treated as a one more character. So not even space is allowed. Not even space is allowed. Only one single character is allowed. So if I remove space and if I put B here, if I put B here, and I'm trying to compile the code again. See, not a statement. It is not a statement. Basically, it only accepts one single character. It only accepts one single character. Something like this. Valid. Right? Now I have only one single character. What if I give 65 as a value? I'm giving 65 as the value. Okay. I'm not giving any character there. I'm giving 65 as the value. Just a minute. I'll just minimize this for a better view. Now I'm trying to compile this. Sorry, literals.java. The code has compiled. The code has compiled. How did it compile? How did it compile? So when you give any value, when you give any number value, so here what happens is your compiler will go and check for the alternative number from the table, from the ASCII table or from the Unicode table. Okay, what is the value of 65? What is the value of 65? Now when I try to print this, you get capital A. So 65 is the value or the number. 65 is the value or the number in the ASCII table or in the Unicode table. For capital A, what is the value or the number that is equivalent to A is 65. You can give up to 65,535 range. You can give 65,535 range. Any number that you can give. For example, any number that you can give. 336. 336. Now I'm trying to compile the code. Code has been compiled. I'm trying to execute it. See, 60, when I give the number called 336, so against 336, what is the value that is mapped is the question mark. It is the question mark. So you're getting the question mark symbol here. The question mark symbol here. So you can give till 65,535. This is the max range. This is the max range. So what is the character that is there on this number? It can fetch it. Code has been compiled. So you see again there is a question mark, right? So here also we have a question mark. Here also we have a question mark. So don't think that everything is a question mark there. So that is a problem with your command prompt. It's a problem with your command prompt. Your command prompt cannot show that specific value. It doesn't have the capability to show that what is the value that is mapped against 65,535. Okay, so if it is if your output screen doesn't support that, by default they'll show the question mark. By default they'll show the question mark. So if it can show rupee symbol, it can show. If it can show pi symbol, it can show. If there are something called printable characters and non-printable characters, right? 0 to 127 are printable characters, which your console also supports you to display those, right? What is there on your keyboard, that you can see it on your output screens. Apart from that, any other that you bring in, your console cannot display them. So instead of that, what it will do is it will give a question mark as a display there. Okay, a default value will be picked, that is question mark. If it cannot print or show, it cannot show that, then it will give the question mark there. Okay, so for characters, either you can use a number or you can use a Unicode value also, /U0065, something like this. Okay, so Unicode. So /U indicates it's a Unicode number, it's a Unicode format, and 0065 is the number for a or the actual value for the character. It's the actual value for the character. Now you see, when I give /U0065, okay, so it thinks that it is a variable. It is a variable. So which means small e, it is representing it as small e. Okay, so this you have to encode or close inside, put inside the single quote. So when you put this inside single quote, instead of 65, it will take the value as e. It will take the value as e. The code has been compiled. See the value, it is taking it as e. Okay, so so if you give 60, for example, I'm just clearing the screen. Code has been compiled. You see, there is a special character. There is a special character. 45. Anything that you give within that, capital E. Okay, so this is the Unicode representation. This is the Unicode representation, and when you are representing a character in the Unicode format, you must enclose them inside. You must enclose them inside the single quote. So even though you are giving multiple, so the the character that is mapped against this value will be fetched. The character that is mapped against this value will be fetched, and it will be displayed to you. It will be displayed to you. Okay, so now you see 65, right? /U0065. So if I try to compile the code and if I try to run, I know that it is small e. It is small e. Now what I can do is your Java is developed in Unicode format. Your Java is developed in Unicode format, right? So instead of literal, here I have small e. So I can write something like this /u0065. Wherever e I have, I can replace that with /u0065 /u0065. If you know the Unicode standard, everything you can convert. Everything you can convert. So even if you see the class, if you know the value of C, Unicode value of C, you can put something like this. You can write code something like this, but only you will be understanding the code, but nobody else. Okay, the code is compiled and happily executed. Happily, it has executed. Now when your compiler reads the code, so it says this is a class and literal. Okay, here is using a Unicode character. Here he is using a new Unicode character. What is the value of e? It will find out /u0065 is equivalent to e. So it will place e here instead of 0065. So wherever it finds 0065, it will replace it with small e. It will replace with small e. So you can write your complete program with the Unicode. You can write your complete program with Unicode format, but only you will understand it, nobody else. So it is always recommended to write the programs in English, and you still have a chance to write everything in Unicode format also, if you know the each and every value of each character. For that, you have to refer to the Unicode table. Okay. So basically, we are discussing the character literals here. We are discussing the character literals. So character literals are enclosed within the single quote, and only one single character is allowed. Not even a space is allowed after it or before it. Okay. And you can use the numbers within the range of char range. Within the char range, you can use the numbers also, and you can use the Unicode format also. When you are using the Unicode format, okay, you have to do that within the single quote. You have to do that inside the single quote. These are the rules and regulations for the character literals. Okay, so let me, if possible, write it down. I'll give the notes also. For Boolean, only possible is true or false. For Boolean, only possible is true or false. And for character literals, char literals, char literals are enclosed within single quote. Within single quote. Char literals can accept numbers until the range of characters, until the range of char data type. Okay, first point. Second point, char literals accepts Unicode format also. Char literals accepts Unicode format also, but Unicode values must be inside single quote. No spaces are allowed. No spaces are allowed in single quote. No spaces are allowed in single quotes when we have a character already available. already available. Okay, these are the rules and regulations. These are the rules and regulations for a character literal. So when you are defining a character data type or a character type variable, so the data type that you have to use is char, and name of the variable, it's up to you. It's up to you, whatever the name that you want to choose, except the keywords. Except the keywords. Char type, and any identifier name you can use, and the values has to be enclosed within single quote, and within that single quote only one single character is allowed, not even a space before or after that. Or you can have a number, you can have a number, and numbers you can use up to the max range of character. You can use the max range of character, that is 65,535. And beyond that, if you use, you'll get compile time problem. You'll get the compile time error. For example, if I give 65,535 is the range, right? 65,535 is the max range. For example, when I give 536, when I give 536, then your compiler will give you the compile time problems. See, incompatible type, possible loss of conversion. So within 65,535, within that range only allowed between it. So that is about character literals. Okay. So when you are defining a character literals, when you are defining character literals, when you are defining a character literals, there are some special characters are also available. So there are some special characters. What are those special characters called? Escape sequence characters. These are called escape sequence characters. Okay. So there are some special characters called escape sequence characters. Okay. So these are like a special notation. Okay. These are like special notation to represent the special characters. The special characters. So what are those special characters is, okay, slash t, slash backslash t. This is backslash t, backslash t. So this stands for tab space. This stands for tab space. Though you have two characters, this is a special, this slash is called as escape the sequence. Escape sequence. Slash is called as escape sequence character. So backslash t indicates a tab space. Backslash n indicates new line. It's a new line. So backslash b indicates backspace. It indicates backspace. Okay. Slash r indicates carriage return. Carriage return. So which means your cursor will move to the very beginning. Your cursor will move to the very beginning of the line. Okay. Slash f. Okay. Form feed. This is called form feed. Okay. Slash single quote. Okay. So this is like a single quote. If you want to just print a single quote, sometimes there might be a possibility like you just wanted to have a single quote within your code. Okay. So then you can use this slash character, this slash backslash character. Okay. So that it will ignore this. For example, in the code, I just wanted to print a single quote. I just wanted to print a single quote. Single quote is also a character, right? Now, when I wanted to print a single quote character, so now when I try to compile the code, you see my compiler gets confused. My compiler gets confused. Why it is getting confused is, so which is the closure for this? So there is an opening single quote, and there should be a closing single quote also. There should be a closing single quote also. Now, whether I have to treat this as a closing single quote or whether I have to treat this as the closing single quote, it is confused now. We don't know which one to confuse, which one to consider. If I take this, for example, if I take this as a single quote for a closure, then what is this? It don't understand what is this symbol now. Or if I take this as an example, now what is this? It don't understand. So now if I wanted to print this single quote, so what I have to use? I have to use a special character or I have to escape the sequence. I'm saying ignore this character and treat this as the closure. Ignore this single quote and treat the last one as the closing one. So now you see. Now when I say escape that character and you take the next one as the closing, that is what we are explaining it to it. Now the code has been compiled. Now I'm able to print that single. So using slash is the escape sequence character, not slash n. Okay, not n is the new line. N will print the new line. Slash is just a escape sequence character. Slash n. So the combination of slash and n brings you a new line. A combination of slash and b brings you a backspace. A combination of slash and r brings you a carriage return. Similarly, any character. Similarly, any character that you can, it can be, if I wanted to print a double quote, then slash double quote. If I want to print a backslash, okay, slash, right? If I want to print a star, okay. So this is called escape sequence character. Okay, the slash is the escape sequence character. With that, with that, adding a slash in front of any of the character, it will ignore it. Okay, so those are escape sequence character. Okay. So any questions on any questions on characters, character literals or Boolean literals? Any questions that you have on character literals and Boolean literals? Assuming there are no questions on this, so then we'll discuss about Unicode character set. Unicode character set. So what is this slash U0065? What is that it indicates here? So you know that, okay, Java is written in Unicode. Java is written in Unicode. Unicode stands for universal code. Universal code. So Unicode is a standard. Like ASCII, Unicode is a standard, right? Unicode stands for universal code. Okay, every character will have a Unicode value. Every character. You take any character, every character has a Unicode value. Okay, so which your Java can understand. Maybe you can't understand it. Your Java can understand. Why we need this Unicode values is, if you see some of your applications. So for example, if you see uh, Amazon.com, for example, you take Flipkart, you take Flipkart, or you take Amazon, right? Have you ever seen there is a language selection? Hope in Google also you'll have this. In Google also you'll have this. There is a language selection for you, right? So you look at the number of languages that each application supports, right? So there are different languages. For example, the Flipkart, if I access it in India, I'll get it in English. I'll get it in English. The same Flipkart site, if I open it in maybe Finland, I'll get Finnish. The default pages that I'll get is a Finnish. Or you access the same site in Russia, it might be in Russian. It might be in Russian language. So each character or each language that we have, right? Each language that we have, right? So that need a conversion. That needs a character, that has a character set. Each language has a character set. Okay, all these character set are defined inside your Unicode standards. Unicode standards. It can be Farsi or it can be Urdu or Tamil, Telugu. Okay, each character has a Unicode value. Each character has a Unicode value. You don't need to remember this. You just need to know that there is a Unicode range for everything. Okay. For example, you go and see, go to online and search for Unicode values for Hindi. You see /U0090X, 91X. So every there are, if you go and search for that, you get that. So there is a Unicode value for everything. Unicode value for everything. So you go and search for Telugu. There is a Unicode value. Official Unicode constraint characters chart. For each character, there is a Unicode value assigned to it. Okay, for each, for example, Telugu numbers. These are the Telugu numbers. For that, the characters, for each character, there is one number, one Unicode range, or one Unicode number is assigned. Okay, so like that, when there is a language support coming into the picture, when there is a language support that is coming into the picture, right? And then the character set decides, okay, how do we display the values? How to display the values? So Unicode, if you take, every character has a Unicode value in any language. In any language, it can be Finnish or it can be Hindi or Telugu or whatever the language that you have. To give a language support to your application, so each character is defined with a Unicode value. So how does the Unicode notation is given is, Unicode will start with /u, and there are four numbers after it. This x is a, okay, x is a hexadecimal value. It's a hexadecimal value. So I hope you know what is an hexadecimal value. So when it follows /u indicates this is a Unicode character set. /u indicates it's a Unicode character set, and the four numbers, whatever the value that is coming, it is of hexadecimal value. For example, 0065, 0065, right? So now to get this 0065, so there will be some actual value inside it. So it should be with 0 plus something like this. You know how I assume you know how to convert this. Okay, 0 plus 0 plus 6 plus 5. Hexadecimal is 16, right? 16 power 0 into 16 power 1 into 16 square, 16 cube into 16 cube. So 0 into 16 cube, 0 into anything 0, plus 0 into anything is 0, plus 16 into, sorry, 6 into 6 power 1. 6 power 1 is 16, right? 16 plus 5 into anything power 0 is 1. 5 into 1, right? So 16 6 are, what is 16 6 are? When I have to calculate that. 96, right? So 0 plus 0 plus 96 plus 5. So 96 plus 5. What is 96 plus 5? 101, right? So the value is 101. The ASCII number is 101. So against 101, if you look at the ASCII range, this is the ASCII range of the value E. The value E. Okay. So the four numbers, what is there here is the hexadecimal format. It's in the hexadecimal format. So the max range what you have is /U0000. It starts at /U capital F or small f. Capital F or small f. So 16 digits. So 0 to 9, 10. Then 11 is A, 12 is B, 13 is C, 14 is D, right? 15 is E, and 16 is F. 16 is F, right? 0, if you want, after 9, if you want to represent anything, right? After 9, if you want to represent anything, you wanted to go for the alphabets in hexadecimal format, right? So 10 you cannot represent. There is no number called 10. 0 to 9 only we have the numbers. We will frame 10 with using this 0 to 9 combination. 0 to 9 combination, right? So to represent 10, you have to go for A. To represent 10, A, then B, C, D, E, F. So 16 characters. Either it can be capital F or small f. So if I say /U 003F, something like this, /U 003F. So then these are anyway zeros. So 3 into 16 plus F means 15. 15 into 1. So 16 threes are 48, right? 32, 48. 48 plus 15. Okay. So you have to calculate something like this to get the ASCII value. To get the ASCII value. So any questions on this? What is a Unicode? For every language, every language, there is a Unicode character set where your program can identify, your Java compilers can identify, your interpreters can identify, but if you wanted to know that, then it is very difficult. So for example, if I wanted to get my language support into my application, I have to go with Unicode character set. It is recommended to go with Unicode character set. So that each each up each character or each language has its own character set where we can define it and we can convert it and keep it in application. So any questions on this? Any questions? Any questions? Assuming there are no questions, assuming there are no questions, so we will wind up the session for now and we'll meet again in tomorrow's session again. Thank you, everyone. Thank you so much. So please practice